What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing a deck profile on my S-Force. Now S-Force recently got some support out of Lightning Overdrive, and so I figured I'd update the deck. Now I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel because over 50% of the people watching this video are not subscribed. So let's fix it. And with that out of the way, let's get into the deck profile. First, I run 3 S-Force Rappa Chiyomaru. Now Rappa Chiyomaru, all the S-Force have a really cool effect depending on zones. This is a deck where zones actually matter. And for Rappa Chiyomaru, each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters can only target that monster for attacks. And as a quick effect, you can banish one S-Force card from your hand, return this card to the hand, and if you do, special summon one S-Force monster from your deck in defense position. So it can special summon one of your S-Force monsters from your deck, so obviously that's very good. One of your main cards. I also run 3 S-Force Edge Razor. Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters cannot be used as material for the link summon of a link 3 or higher monster. If this card is normal special summoned, you can special summon one S-Force monster from your hand in attack position. So this can help get your S-Force monsters from your hand to the field, especially the higher leveled S-Force monsters. I run 3 S-Force Orifice. Your opponent cannot target any of their monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters. With card effects, when a monster your opponent controls activates its quick effect, you can banish one S-Force monster or one S-Force card from your hand, destroy that monster. So this is a very powerful disruption during your opponent's turn, and you always want to have like S-Force monsters in your hand to activate their effects. So I also run 3 S-Force Gravitino. Gravitino, each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters is banished when it leaves the field, so that's already by default really good. It can be used for clearing boards. If this card is normal special summoned, you can add an S-Force card from your deck to your hand, so it's a searcher. I also run 3 S-Force Platina. Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monster loses 600 attack, and if this card is normal special summoned, you can target a banished S-Force monster except Platina, special summon it. And considering you banished a card from your hand to activate the S-Force effects, you're pretty much always going to be able to activate that. I run 2 S-Force Dog Tag. Dog Tag, during the main phase, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters. If your opponent normal or special summons an S-Force monster while you control an S-Force you can special summon this card from your hand. So again, just another disruption. This is why I always say S-Force has potential, because it can definitely do a lot. I also run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring as my hand trap of choice. Moving on to spells, I run 3 S-Force Bridgehead. And when this card is activated, you can add 1 S-Force monster from your deck to your hand. When your opponent monster declares an attack on your S-Force monster in its same column, you can activate this effect. That monster control cannot be destroyed by battle. I also run the 1 Terraforming to help bring that out. So you already got a lot of search power and special summoning power, because you also got 3 S-Force Showdown. S-Force Showdown, you can activate one of the following effects. The first one, you can special summon 1 S-Force monster from your hand in defense position, which is pretty good. You can target 1 S-Force monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. So you got a lot of versatility with S-Force. I also run 3 Pot of Prosperity, because you don't really use the extra deck a whole lot because the S-Force monsters themselves can carry a lot of the weight. I say aside from the Link 3 Justify, it doesn't really matter what you banish. Although you probably wouldn't want to banish a card like Access Code. I also run the 1-Dimensional Fissure because you want your S-Force cards to get banished in some instances for cards like S-Force Platina. And of course, your opponent most likely is not going to enjoy that card. And I also run 1 Rhoda because you do happen to have a warrior monster in the form of Chiyomaru, although pretty much all of them have different types. Moving on to the traps. I run 3 S-Force Chase. S-Force Chase, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of S-Force monsters you control with different names, return them to the hand. And if the S-Force monster you control would banish a card from your hand to activate its effect, you you banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it can be used as the banish fodder for your S-Force monster's effect. I also run 2 S-Force Specimen. Specimen, if your opponent controls a monster, target one of your S-Force monsters that's banished from your graveyard, special summon it to your field in the same column as the opponent's monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target an S-Force monster you control, move that target to another of your main monster zones. So this is really good at getting your banished cards back, and depending on where the zones, you can really mess up your opponent a lot. And lastly, the card that no one likes. I run 3, there can be only 1. Considering all the monsters are different types minus Gravitino and Justify, this card doesn't hurt you one bit. And it's definitely going to hurt your opponent a lot. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 3 S-Force Justify. Justify, your opponent cannot, or you cannot special summon set monsters in a zone this card points to. Quick effect, you target one face-up effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn, then you can move that opponent's monster to their monster zone that this card points to. You can only use this effect of S-Force Justify once per turn. So this card is good at really limiting what your opponents can do. Now the one question I don't know on the wording of this is how it says you cannot special summon. I also run an IP package in Masquerena, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn, as well as just some other generic Link monsters, because that's mainly the extra deck. You mostly run just a bunch of generic stuff. That's why I play Pot of Prosperity. And I run some generic rank 4 monsters and Dweller, Dieras, and Cowboy. And I also run 1 Nova and 1 Infinity, because you do have a level 5 machine in the deck, in the form of S-Force Dog Tag. That's it for this deck profile. What do you think of this deck? Do you think it's a pretty cool deck? Do you think S-Force definitely has a lot of potential? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make.